Is you know something? If you watch one of my videos, especially what I covered about Eric Adams and how he's trying to expound the whole entire vegan options programs in these schools and this whole array about how everybody wants to be vegan nowadays and have all these alternative meats and fake meats and this, that, and the third. I mean, I'll tell y'all, man. I mean, this whole entire vegan ploy is nothing more but an agenda, in my honest opinion. Now, I'll tell you why, and we're going to get into this conversation for a second. But as it states in the title, we're going to be talking about the KFC Beyond Chicken wings that they have out in these stores now, and how this whole entire Beyond Meat industry has been taken by storm, and they're doing all these informative things out there in like Europe and all this other stuff where they have these big old vegan fake meat restaurants and these vegan what is it, these vegan conventions where they have ribs and you know, all these different things out here that's not supposed to be made by meat or whatever, but it's like supposed to have a meat taste. I mean, look, the stuff that people will go through just to have it taste like meat. I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, I see shit like people out here like what, frying watermelons and making watermelon steak. What kind of shit is that? And not only that, they make things like, I seen things, so something crazy like, what was that chick Tabitha Brown, where she tried to make bacon out of banana peels? I mean, how far do y'all go? Look, listen, I understand we want to experiment with food, we're gonna go ahead and try all these different things, but goddamn, like, it couldn't kill you to eat a piece of bacon unless it, of course, if it's not pig, it's not swine. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always different alternatives to meat. And I mean, honestly, if you wanted the texture of meat, you can go ahead and use mushroom and stuff like that. I know that's something popular that's nowadays. But, it's vegans, the whole entire thing. And that's something I'm going to be touching on as well. I'm going to be touching on about the whole entire vegan industry, the history, the why it's here today, and maybe some historical facts on it, because it's not something that just came out of thin air. I mean, I'm pretty sure they was doing experimentations with foods for a long time. It's just now they get it out to the public in 2022 and beyond. But that'll be later on my YouTube journey. Today I just want to talk more about this KFC Beyond Meat crave and all this random stuff that's going out here with these vegans. And what I find very ironic, especially because Mayor Eric Adams admitted to this. A lot of these vegans is not usually all the way 100% vegan. I tell you that. They never can really stick to a whole complete vegan diet. And I'm saying that for a good majority of vegans. They always have to find something that's like cheese or dairy or meat products so much that they'll go back to eating meat and say that they're cheating on it, or their biggest cheat is to go ahead and eat fish. This is something that even Mayor Eric Adams admitted to. You know what I'm saying? I've had conversations with these vegans. They don't always be 100% vegan. They'll cheat their ass off with some type of fish. You know what I'm saying? Sink their teeth in some goddamn salmon or something like that. You understand me? So don't be surprised by a lot of what these people say, man. But we're gonna touch on this video and I'll make some commentary on it. So Pete.
Didn't want to just provide another foreign chicken to the market. What we wanted to do is get that muscle structure right so that when people bit into the product.
And as far as when I did this research, the whole entire Beyond Meat company started around like 2008, 2009. And Ethan Brown is obviously the CEO and founder, but he had more little bits with the whole entire meat products. And before Beyond Meat, we honestly knew that the whole entire thing with playing the experimentations of meat was tofu. Tofu was like the main thing that was the alternative for meat. you know, especially when I was growing up, you know, they had something like tofu ribs. I remember tasting that as a child, and I was just like, this isn't real ribs. You know what I mean? I was like, thank you, but nah, I don't really rock with that.
It has that whole muscle tissue experience for them that they would get with chicken breast.
90% of the customers that are buying, you know, Beyond and plant-based proteins in the grocery also eat meat. So they're using it as a way to reduce the amount of animal-based protein in their diets. And, you know, we think it's bigger than just a trend.
Well, my thing about it is, it's not a trend. This is what they're moving to in the new world order. The thing about it is that, you know, a lot of people don't really adhere to this. They want to leave you with the bull of how they need to decrease on killing animals. That's not it at all. I mean, the thing about it is, practically America, the Western world, has ran out of food. So the thing about it is, they're, you know, y'all not getting exactly, even if you are a meat eater, you're not getting exactly 100% beef when you go to a restaurant that's serving burgers or steak or something like that. And then they have a lot of these chemical agents that they use on chickens, cows, and pork and all this other stuff like that. So when and you'll usually see it in your food too. They use this like glue agent on there. You don't even notice it. It's like meat being composted together. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I had a conversation with homies before that they use alternative animals and make it seem as if it's chicken, beef, and all these different things. You're not even knowing what you're eating. And of course, that urban legend that happens in the hood that usually when you go to these Chinese restaurants in particular, that you're probably eating cat or something like that. And I heard from this brother the other day, ironically, here that joint about Atlanta. To be off topic for a minute, that Atlanta is becoming like the new Atlantis. You know, especially a growing population of so-called Black people out there. But I'm not surprised that they would go ahead and try to use chicken, especially plant-based chicken, to go ahead and serve to a so-called Black restaurant or so-called Black people. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Let me say this. I know that the whole entire thing with the pandemic and, you know, it being short staffed, I mean, I think those who really think on a subconscious level understands that this was all planned and, you know, this was meant to happen and stuff like that. But I will say this. Um, I did a video a while ago sitting up there talking about how they're going ahead and using, they're creating 3D foods. That's also going to be something in the future they're going to use. And instead of using actual like beef and this, that, and third, they'll take some type of protein from an animal so they don't technically kill the animal and all these different things. And they'll go ahead and, you know, use no, I was about to say a cancer cell, a cell from the animal in order to create these new meats. You understand? This is all about just the fact of the matter they're running out of food. They ran out of these crops is poisoned. The animals is being poisoned with all these like chemical agents, steroids, and all these different things like that. And, you know, they're trying to convince you they have a bundle of supply. No, the whole entire thing is just gone. You understand? And I remember watching this film, especially when it comes to crops. They was trying to use a universal agent on like these crops in these films. If y'all remember the movie back in 2006 called Idiocracy. And in fact, the matter is, they was going over about the crops and how they wanted to use this thing called Brondo as a fertilizer and this, that, and the third. I mean, honestly, when you really think about it, they're telling you that they're substituting the water for something else, or, you know, using more agents in order to grow some fake crops or GMO filled crops. So. understand that. Great marketing, great marketing strategy. Remember what I told you guys about YouTube stars. And I do this video because I want you guys to be aware, but that doesn't mean that just because this is another point that I wanted to make. What you notice with a lot of vegans or a good amount of vegans, you know, the ones that's just completely like straight up junk food vegans, they don't really, you know, go on that whole entire odds of doing the whole entire Dr. Sebi wave and this, that, and the third, or taking advice from your local Jamaican YouTuber, or, you know, those people out there that talk about, you know, you got to be one with the earth and stuff like that. They'll use a lot of sodium in their food. I noticed that they use a lot of sodium, and they use still a lot of chemicals in order to get the taste and the likeness of their favorite meats and cheeses and all that other stuff. And, you know, if you'll go to like these popular brands in the stores, they have stuff like Daya, and then have like these, because I remember it. I know they have those like plant-based meats, like especially those plant-based sausages and stuff like that. I will tell you this, family. Always look at the back of the labels on things. You understand? When you pick up that stuff, whether it's canned or stuff like that, which is something I gotta actually start digging into and actually getting out of myself, start eating less canned food, you know, and the things that come in boxes, you know, because the way it's manufactured is probably not good for me or you in general. But getting back to what I'm talking about, read the back of those labels, man. Don't waste time and just think that, oh, you know, I'm not gonna read and I'm not gonna pick it up. Like, you know, you really be thinking you get a a vegan product, and all of a sudden those ingredients say soy in it, or you know, the ingredients say, you know, contains milk, might be in the same factory where milk and peanuts is processed. You got to take that as it's probably mistakenly milk or peanuts in that thing, you know. So I'm going to show you one more thing, because we got to do this knowledge real quick, and we have to get to a place where we have an understanding about these products. I don't do this to scare anyone. I do this to just spread knowledge. And so I'm going to give you this idea about what's going on, the whole entire thing with the KFC plant-based chicken nuggets. You know, I believe it's BS when it comes to these whole entire vegan products anyway. But, you know, of course, like I said before in the beginning, it is an agenda, and about, you know, creating more of these fake foods anyway. I think it's mainly to cover up the fact of the matter, there's not a lot of food resources out there, because they have to compensate that with creating these GMO-filled farms and steroid-filled animals in order to feed you guys. Doesn't keep the generation moving. And then you're surprised when your son is like 10 years old and he has titties, and then, you know, why your 8 or 9-year-old daughter is already fully developed before she's supposed to be fully developed. You understand? You know, yeah, you know, this all looks cute. You know what I'm saying? You know, 80 calories, you know, grams of calories from fat, 40.5, total fat, 4.5 grams. Cholesterol says 0 mg, and then sodium, because it's like I told you guys before, they're gonna up more on the sodium, because it has to give it that near chicken taste. So 240 milligrams, you know, carbohydrates is 5G. That probably comes from the breading and all that other stuff. And yeah, you think of it that way. So we're gonna read these ingredients, and it's like even see right here. 6-piece order of Beyond Fried Chicken Nuggets contains 480 calories, 27 grams of fat, 1440 milligrams of sodium. That still doesn't look good if you're talking about 1440 milligrams of sodium, 30 grams of carbohydrates, and 36 grams of protein. Meanwhile, a 12-piece order contains 960 calories, 54 grams of fat, 2880 milligrams of sodium, 60 grams of carbohydrate, and 72 grams of protein. Still doesn't look good at that order, but you know, it is what it is. Water, enriched wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, minotrite. And that's the thing. You can't read this shit. It probably means it's not good. You understand? I like to stick to simple ingredients when I go out to the supermarket. I know I still pick up nonsense every now and again, but I'm still conscious of knowing that I try to cut down on that as much as possible. You know, I don't believe these diets. You know, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how your body is. You know, you can't just be picking up random diets and thinking you could just be a vegan just because you want to. You have to be very careful in the things you're sitting up there eating and ingesting in your body. You can't just pick up diets. That's why I always believe you have to know how your body is. You know, and it's always said 90% of these diseases come from the diets you have. So you have to understand how your body intakes things and how it reacts. You know, if you're eating the same food and you always get a stomach ache from the same foods, that means you probably shouldn't be eating it. So it says, I'm not going to read all these things in parentheses, but soy protein, enriched bleach, wheat flour, it's already a red flag. Expeller press, canola oil, wheat gluten, salt, breadcrumbs, natural flavors. And that's a red flag. Natural flavors, which is something I'll probably make on a separate occasion, digging into natural flavors, that is, as we talk more about this diet stuff. Contains 2% or less yeast extract, garlic powder, potato starch, leavening, spices, rice flour, salt, pea fiber, citric acid, chili pepper, titanium dioxide for color. You know, and sometimes I think when they put things like that, when they put things in parentheses, like they're trying to market it like, oh, no, no, no. We only put a little bit in this because we just need it to look attractive to you. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you're at the supermarket and you see that apple that has all that wax on it, knowing that that wax is full of chemicals, but they want to make the apple look pretty. You trying to dress a bitch? Spice, extractive, and onion powder. So I'm not done here. I wanted to definitely get in two of the ingredients that's in here so you can pay attention to exactly you know what other products they use in. And this is why I would say use your discretion. And it's funny because the ingredients they have in the US, it'd be banned in like Europe, it'd be banned in the UK. So you gotta pay attention to that. So the first thing I decided to look up is aluminum phosphate. So see right here on your screen, it has that it has that whole entire warning sign that says corrosive or irritant. And it seems as if you pour this type of chemical on your skin, it's gonna have a reaction, right? So as we go further into aluminum phosphate, this is all it has, but there's definitely something more that I wanted to see when we was talking about this project right here, aluminum phosphate. And even if it says right here is an estrogen is a chemical that tends to shrink or construct body tissues. Isn't that interesting? So you're ingesting something in your body that can construct body tissues. And I know that's not really a good one, but like, check this out. See, aluminum phosphate used in bats. Aluminum containing adjuvants are vaccine ingredients that have been used in vaccines since the 1930s. Small amounts of aluminum are added to help the body build stronger immunity against a germ in the vaccine. Aluminum is one of the most common metals found in nature and is present in air, food, and water. Well, I wouldn't really agree with metals being in my food. I don't know about you, but probably not for me. But he even says this, breathing aluminum phosphate can irritate the nose, throat, and lungs, causing coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath. Repeated exposure may damage the lungs, kidneys, and liver. Aluminum phosphide will react with water or moisture to release highly toxic and flammable phosphine gas. Now it's the first one. Now we want to talk about titanium dioxide. Now check this out. Titanium dioxide is used in a variety of personal care products, including sunscreen, pressed powders, and loose powders as a UV filter or whitening agent in lotions and creams and presents low risk of exposure. But we don't want to take that as just, oh, it's okay. No, we don't. We want to get to the nitty gritty of the situation. Check this out. However, when titanium dioxide is inhalable, it as it may be in powders, it is considered a possible carcinogenic. And love how they try to use that word possible. No, we're going to take it as a carcinogenic by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Nanoized TiO2 does not appear to confer any unique health hazards. Still wouldn't trust that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mind putting this in the chat or putting this in the video so you guys can take a look at this, but you have to really take a look at exactly how these ingredients is in the food. Now, when you first search it up, when they talk about KFC Beyond Fried Chicken Nuggets, of course, they're not going to give you the actual all means ingredients in it. Or if they do, they know that you're not going to read it, so they have no problem putting all this random stuff in your food, especially when it comes to you vegans out there. And what can potentially happen to you when you ingest this food. And I mean, it's funny. I remember when the whole entire vegan movement really started to take steam, especially around like, I believe, I remember when I used to really be on social media like that, especially Instagram, 2016, about around 2015 to about 2017. I remember I used to be this big vegan activist, had an Instagram profile, had about like maybe tens of thousands of followers on there without a shadow of a doubt. And I remember this man used to always talk about how a lot of these organizations is harming these animals, killing them and putting them in some crazy practice in cages and all this other stuff. And I remember the next time I looked at his Instagram profile, he would sit up there bigging up how Burger King started, places like Burger King was serving up this impossible Whopper, and that we should go ahead and give it a try because now they starting all these plant-based meats and all this other stuff, man. Never ever trusted these random vegan activists, man. Some of them was full of crap. So otherwise than that, make sure you guys take care of yourself and your health. Peace.